Okay.
Got it. All right.
So, again, welcome everybody. I really appreciate you being here. There are a couple things. So, as I said, this whole peer group meeting is new territory. So we can make it what we want to. And the leadership committee mission is to support the branches. So I'm here for you, not the other way around. Although I will learn a lot, but I need this. The success of this depends on you feeding back to me and telling me what you need and asking questions and telling me how I can help you. For this year, there have been a couple changes that have already been implemented. And the first one Sherry was talking about earlier, and that's the Memorandum of Understanding, or the MOU. That has gone online. So you no longer need to print it out, chase down your branch president, get signatures, buy an envelope, get a stamp, find a mailbox. Because I don't know what you, but the last time I mailed a letter,
I pray it gets
I
there.
can't find any stamp. So the good news is that it is now online. I know Sherry's tried it. Has anybody else tried it yet? Submitted it yet? Would you like me to display and walk through the process with you? Okay.
Sure.
I don't want to, waste people's time if they don't want to. So what I will do is, first of all, so I'm going to share. So the first thing you do is you download the toolkits. Has everybody found the toolkits?
Yes.
Yeah, everybody's able to get the toolkits. They're in the same spot they were last year. That we haven't changed, although we'll talk about that. But what I'm displaying right now is the toolkit. And you can see, scrolling very quickly down to the Memorandum of Understanding. We created this format so you can't print it and send it. It's forcing you to do the online version. But if you click on this little button here that says here, that will take you online to the new page, which is, I lost it, right there. So that's what it looks like when you come pull it up online. You can all see that, I hope, right? Is it?
Yes.
Do I need to make it bigger?
We see it.
Okay. And it is absolutely identical to the sample that's in the toolkit. So it'll have your email up front. Things with a red asterisk indicate that you have to put something there, otherwise it won't let you advance. It's pretty straightforward. Pull down list for picking your branch. You can see all the branches that are there. You just select your branch. I'm going to go through it because otherwise we won't be able to go to the next page until so I'll say Sacramento branch president's name. Queen Amidala is our president. And her email is and then you type in your address. And then you hit next. And you're supposed to read it, by the way. And then you read it. Once you read this page, you go to next. Read this page, go to next. Read this page, go to next. Next. Lots more pages than I thought there were. And then this is at the end. And this is where you indicate that you agree or not. And you submit.
Okay.
That's all there is to it. And the beauty of this, there's a lot of advantages. Things don't get lost in the mail. It automatically creates a spreadsheet for us so that we have all the information there, so we don't have to open the envelopes and type in the information and all that. If you ever have any doubt whether it worked or not, please feel free to drop me an email. And I'm happy to let you know that we received it. Any questions, concerns? Yes.
Does the president doesn't have to sign it then? You just need their name?
Right. You just need their name.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
easy.
We're depending upon you to, communicate with your president that, but the MOU is basically you promising to follow the policies of the speech track program. Eloda, you had a question?
Yes, our branch has 4 presidents, but they divided up the year. Nobody wanted to take full responsibility. So should I put all 4 or just the one that's at this time?
I would put the one at this time.
Oh, okay.
You're welcome to put in more. It's not like we're not really going to contact them unless there's an issue, right, Marlene?
Okay.
We've never really.
Right, correct.
Yeah. So. Any other questions? Okay, good. So the next thing I want to talk about is Marlene is working on a program to work towards, we're working towards kind of standardizing or normalizing or getting more consistency within, or assuring that we have consistency among our judges, among our programs, and how they judge, how they score, et cetera, et cetera. Not that they're identical, but that we're all similar and we're all in the same boat. So she's working on a judges briefing program, or so I'll let you take it away, Marlene.
Okay, thanks, Lana. And by the way, just for the record, Lana was my first choice as my successor. So I just want to get that up, and she's doing a wonderful job already. Okay, so how did this come about? Well, even though every branch has a lot of autonomy in how they conduct their speech track program, there are certain things that we do uniformly. The judging wasn't one of those things, and it came to my attention this past year from a couple of branches that they were having some issues because they really didn't know how to brief their judges, and that created some judging problems and so forth. And I kind of had like a V8 moment. Like, of course, that makes perfect sense, especially if you're not experienced in either being a judge or briefing a judge. So I thought I'm going to share best practices and put together a little seminar or a webinar. And in that seminar, I'll explain the value of having a judge's briefing. And it's not a big deal. We're talking maybe a 30-minute session. I typically do it by Zoom. And I have an agenda I'll share with you, and I'll just go over the best practices and why have a briefing in the first place and what should be covered in that briefing, what makes a good judge, how do you recruit judges, and what's the judge's main responsibility, review the ballot, answer any questions, that kind of thing. And so that the judges are prepared when they go to do that, because being a judge is not only a great honor, it's a great responsibility. They are really the unsung heroes of speech track, in my opinion. So I'm going to put this together, and we're looking at maybe an hour and a half, and we have a tentative date, Lana, don't we? A tentative date set for, I think, February 1st. However, if any of the branches tonight or other branches let us know that they're holding their contests earlier than that, and they want it earlier, I can certainly do it more than once. So that's just to give you a quick overview of this.
Claire has a question.
Train the trainer. A question. Yes, Claire.
So will the judges have some kind of a rubric that they can check mark,
Yes, there is. Yes, there is a rubric. It's called the
Okay.
Judge's Ballot. It's in your toolkit. You can go look at it right now.
I didn't
And
see
in
that.
addition, at this webinar, if you would like, I could provide you a little judge's a checklist as well, if you think that would be helpful. But the actual ballot that they use to judge each contestant is in your branch toolkit, and it's also in the students' toolkit as well.
Okay, great.
There it is right there. If you can see it. I don't know if you have visible.
Yeah, that's it. It's a little bit bigger in your toolkit. So basically, and I'll go over, of course, in the webinar, but for those of you who are new, I'll just mention a few quick things. The judges judge in 2 key areas, and it's equal. 50% is judged on content, and 50% is judged on delivery. And that's how this is set up. And so in this webinar, I will review the ballot with you so that when you brief your judges, you'll be more comfortable in explaining the ballot to them. So that's what the ballot looks like. And let's see what else. Any other questions at the moment?
I
Uh,
just want to say thank
Oda
you
has a
so
question.
much because this is really important. We had quite a controversy last year with making a decision between first and second. And I think that a little more guidance would have helped a lot.
Yeah, Susan, I think you are the one. I think it was from your branch that helped inspire this idea. And
Oh,
I can't
okay.
thank you enough. But really, it's like, wow, why didn't we do this before? So absolutely right. And that's what you do not want. And what solves that issue, Susan, is that each judge's decision is confidential and independent. There's no discussion between judges. So
Okay.
anyway, we'll discuss best practices, and you will not have those headaches this year.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome. Any other
Um,
questions I can cover at this time? Yes.
Yes, would the judges attend this Zoom too, and us as chairs?
If you already have judges assigned, I think they could. It's going to be designed for you as the chair so that whoever's going to do the briefing is familiar with it. It's really designed for whoever's going to be doing the briefing of the judges. And so,
Okay.
a bit. So what I would suggest tonight is start thinking about who will be what I would call the chief judge. A best practice is to assign somebody who is your lead or your chief judge, and that person is the one who would brief the judges. That person is the one who would oversee the judging portion of the contest, be responsible for getting that taken care of. And I'll address that in the webinar.
I think one of the key things that you touched on is finding judges and recruiting people from your community to be judges. We did change the rules last year that allows AAUW members to be a judge. However, they can't have any personal connection with any of the contestants.
Right, and we'll discuss that in the webinar. If you, as a judge, for example, if you're a judge and you know one of the contestants, of course, you would want to probably recuse yourself from judging that contestant or being a judge at all in that case. So that's the only caveat there.
Yeah.
Now, how many of you, I'm just curious, how many of you are planning on having a virtual contest, online contest? Anybody?
Everybody's going in person. Wonderful.
Okay,
Love
great.
it.
Great. If there's anyone who is having a virtual contest, I'll ask at the beginning. And if not, I won't even go there. I won't address any unique issues that are unique to virtual.
Yeah, there's
Exciting.
some unique judging issues with virtual versus in person.
Right.
So,
Exciting. So, and how many of you are thinking about your contest is going to be in the spring per normal? Most contests are.
Oh, yeah, obvious, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Sherry, you had a question?
Yeah. Now,
You lost
my
it.
brain.
That's all right.
Get it.
Just throw your hand up if it comes back. Well,
But
we
now-
don't mind jumping around topics. That's okay.
Think about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll come back.
do it
It'll
all.
come back.
I should write it down.
Okay, so that's sort of the brief rundown of it. And looking at around February 1st, if that sounds like a good date to everybody, I will work with Lana on that. But
Yeah, I think that'll be a great addition to the program. Looking forward to that.
yeah, I do too.
So just briefly, some of the other changes that are either in process or on the plate. I am in the process of restructuring the website. I'm sure many of you gone to the website and said, where is everything? And so there's some key information that's kind of buried that I would like to put up front. So I didn't want to do it right now because everybody knows where the toolkits are and they wanted to find them. So I will be, before the end of the year, I'll be rolling out a reorganization of the website, hopefully with a little bit more user-friendly. And then the big thing that we have on our plate is creating a plan for subsequent years. A strategic plan is what I'm calling it. The leadership committee has stressed to me that they really would like us to actively try to expand the program, bring more branches involved, work with the branches that have been doing speech track to find out how they can reach more schools. There are thousands and thousands of young people in this state that don't have an opportunity to participate in this program by virtue of the few number of branches that we have participating. So we want to go about it in a strategic way, utilizing our veterans and the newbies, and coming up with creative ways to try to reach more people, more students, whether it be more branches, whether it be coordinating branches together. I mean, the ideas are just flying all over the place. So I want to do it more strategically. So to that end, what I need from all of you is think about it, about joining our committee to help us plan this out. Like I said, those of you that have been running these speech tracks, your experience and information would be just invaluable to the input to this plan. So if you have any time, we would love to have you work with us on it. If you know somebody in your branch or in your personal life that you think might have fun, send them my way. Okay, so that's what I need from you guys. Also, what I need from you guys is to find out what you would like to get from this meeting. So we can talk about particular problems that you're having, obstacles that you're having, sharing ideas. How would you like this meeting to be structured? What were you expecting when you saw that email and you said, what the heck is this? What were you expecting it to be or hoping it would be? Anybody have a Sherry?
Yeah, I would, you know, like a share and tell or whatever, you know, what are you doing? I mean, some of them are very new. I mean, which is strategic planning. I mean, we have a whole guide on how to do it, you know, ourselves in Sacramento, because we've done it for so long. And that, I mean, it's a structure. You wouldn't necessarily do the same thing, but it's a structure that you could use to at least see what, you know, we have done. And I think that's very helpful, because when Liz Joyner and I did it first, I mean, we had no idea what we were doing. And we just sort of, you know, flip-flong. But I was thinking of this as, you know, what have you done? You know, what are some of the challenges or whatever, you know? That's what I thought. It was just sort of a give and take.
Mm-hmm.
Plus,
yeah, I don't want it to be prescriptive. I don't want to stand in front of you guys and give a speech.
I came on tonight because we're looking for, I think, best practices. And also, as Susan mentioned, our biggest challenge was to get contestants. So we had 3. We were happy to have 3. We had a first, second, and third place. But the teachers were very difficult to get a hold of, and we walked away deciding that we had to do all the work and not put any of it on the teachers. So I'd like to see what people are doing in that arena.
Have any of you had, I think Sherry, you were sharing that in past years, you had some years that where you had more than you could handle, but that it goes up and down pretty dramatically.
It's just so, I mean, one of the first years we had 1 student.
Yeah.
And she wanted to bow out. We said, no, you have 1. All you have to do is get up there. And, you know, we finally, you know, coaxed her into doing it.
Yeah.
But what I'd like to know is, see, like in Sacramento, we go to 1 school district because it'd be too difficult unless you have lots of people. You know, and both of us were teachers. The other lady was a teacher in Elk Grove. So that's why we went to Elk Grove, because she was in high school. So so we just sort of started there. But I'd like to know, where are you trying to get your students? Are you going to high schools? Or are you just advertising it? We don't advertise it because generally I mean, we would like to, but the problem is that, say they're, well, we have other people around.
Who's your target audience for the advertising? Is it the schools? Is it the students? Is it the teachers?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And where else can you, you know, because we did have one that, you know, sort of showed up one day. I mean, at the time of the, and, you know, we said that, she could say her speech afterwards, but I mean, she didn't have any of the, guidance or whatever, so
Right.
I mean, it's, but I'd just like to know where are you looking for students? That's what I would like to know.
Does anybody have any input?
Well, yeah, let me jump in. So one of the best ways for recruiting students, if you can align yourself with a teacher, or if that's you're not having success with getting on campus, then start at the top with the superintendent or the director of curriculum and send them a letter, or call them up, let them know about this program. And the teachers don't have to be involved at all unless they want to. I mean, some teachers want to be involved, but really they don't have to be. In fact, some teachers are very happy to hear about this program because it alleviates some work for them. They give a great project to the student, and the branch will conduct coaching, or the branch runs the contest. They don't have to do anything really if they don't want to, but it does help if a teacher is enthusiastic about the program to maybe suggest to the teacher, hey, could you offer this as extra credit? Could you incorporate this topic into one of your discussions? I mean, we've had teachers do that, and man, when they give it as an extra credit, all of a sudden there's contestants.
Yeah,
So that's
some
one thing.
so I think you touched on the incentive. Some, figuring out what's a good, obviously we can't pay them, but what are some incentives? Is it, can we sell it on the idea that it's helpful for your application to college?
Mhm.
Participation. What about how do you handle students that because there are some students that come to the website and then they send an email saying, how do I get involved? And we send them to find their local branch and contact the branch. So there may be some students that are out there looking for a branch.
And in fact,
contest.
there have been several students more each year that contact us directly. They see it on the online and they contact us directly, and we then see which branch near them, and we send the students. That's happened several times.
Yeah, I've had a couple.
So
Just
maybe perhaps another way is to have it more visible online. If we can maybe direct more students to the different branches that we know are hosting a speech trek.
Mm-hmm. Has anybody worked with or contacted with the California High School? Oh gosh, the name's escaping me. There is an organization that has statewide contests, and they do it a little differently. They have different categories, dramatic interpretation and other types of categories. But has anybody had any contact with that organization? So that may be an avenue worth exploring. Margot, you had a question?
How do you get homeschool kids
Good question.
involved in finding them and
Yeah,
contacting them?
I think, and we've had Margot at our local Big Bear Valley branch, we've had homeschool kids compete. A lot of times your high school knows of these groups. They have to be registered, I believe. And you could just ask your high school principal, or is there a homeschool group, and what's their contact information? Homeschools love this program.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I would think it would be right in their
I think it
bailiwick.
would be good.
But
Also,
yeah, they
another
do
way-
have to report something to the school. There is
Yeah.
a communication link there.
Another way to recruit students is to, if there's several campus organizations that value public
Yes.
speaking, like there's a political groups on campus. I think it's called POTUS. I forget what it stands for. Speech club, debate club, anything like that. They might have a very special interest in this type of program too. I see.
I have a couple of hands going on. Judy?
I was just curious. We have one high school that's in town here that there's a speech class, and she's just wonderful. Just goes so smoothly. I've approached the other two, as we're three different towns in 2 different counties. And how do you hold the actual speech contest if you have kids from that are 15 miles away? Do you go to each school to have the contest? I've had no luck so far approaching the 2 other schools. I've put letters in boxes, and so far I haven't had any response yet. I just have to keep trying. But I
Right.
didn't actually hold that contest.
you find a venue. It's like planning a wedding, right? First, you got to figure out where you're going to hold it. You're going to hold it live. So you need to find a venue, and they come to you.
Okay, because we have a venue that the high school here in town, she's wonderful. She reserves the room.
Great.
So we would have the other two towns come here.
Right, the
That would be fine.
contestants. Mhm.
Contestants.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Fantastic.
All
Yeah.
right. That
Claire,
helps.
you had a
Thank
question? Your hand is up.
Right, well, I mean, in our branch, our school district actually covers 2 different towns also, but our branch mainly works with, only the 2 high schools in San Ramon. So, I mean, are you allowed to limit it just to those 2 schools or?
Well, that's your choice, whether you want to limit it, especially if you have more students, you're full. But if you're desperate for students, then probably not a good idea to limit it.
Well, I mean, we just wouldn't want to step on the toes of the other branch.
Oh,
that-
I see.
Oh, right. Oh, right.
Yeah, if you're, well,
Okay.
I guess,
What you could
Go ahead,
do,
Marlene.
yeah, I'm sorry. What you could do in that case, I see your issue. I would call the other branch to find out if they're holding a speech track. If they
Okay.
have decided not to hold a speech track, then that's great. Then you don't feel badly. If they are,
Yeah.
then it would
And you
work
can
with them.
also contact me to find out who that person is, the speech track, who's running the speech track
Yeah.
at that branch if you need to.
And has
Um,
it had luck like approaching the student leadership teachers or student government, whatever?
Sure.
Yeah, I think the drama, if some schools still have drama programs, that might be another way into it as well, even though it's kind of a different, still kind of goes hand
And
in
I
hand.
think because this topic this year deals directly with curriculum, I think any director of curriculum would have an interest in this too, and might be able to be
Yeah.
a good ally for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Harley, you had a question, did we answer it?
Because I'm so new to the program, I just have so many thoughts and questions kind of floating around. I think mainly just a comment that I wanted to make is that AAUW, we have a number of wonderful programs now to offer our young women. And I think that maybe going forward, we might think about coordinating our efforts in terms of advertising and marketing.
I'm ahead of you on that one. I've actually already spoken with the director of GovTrack and TechTrack.
Great.
And have kind of, tried to establish a relationship. It's like, can we talk about a way that we can work together, because these skills are so critical, obviously for GovTrack and for TechTrack too, even though it's more technically focused. In the workplace, if you're a technician, an engineer, or whatever, there are times where you will need to feel comfortable speaking out. So it dovetails quite nicely with other AAUW programs, and that's high on my list.
Yeah,
For
it really
sure.
does. And at the high school level, I just wanted to offer a suggestion, having been a college and career advisor at our local high school. They really end up being your point people at the high school level, your college and career advisors.
Right.
So just keep them in mind as well.
Yeah. I want to take a second and say hi to Colleen. I see you signed on a little late and we kind of bypassed all the introductions. So hi, my name is Lana.
Now I lost track of you, but I am still here.
Okay, I can see you, but you're frozen, but we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, what I have to say is that I think that you're all hitting the right places to expose this. And then my question is, in the olden days when I was in school, they had speech classes. Is that still happening anywhere? That,
In a lot
it
of
was actually
places.
the name of the class was speech.
Yeah, it is, but it's not as pervasive, I think, as it used to be.
Right,
It's
yeah.
hit or miss.
Oh, okay. Well, that's an advantage to us, then we can offer that.
But it would be nice to know, how can we get a list of the schools that do have speech programs? Does anybody have any ideas on that?
I
Is
just
there-
called around And I found out, for example, that our Placer High School did not have a speech class last year because not enough people signed up, but they have one this year.
Oh,
So I'm
Oh,
trying to make the
wonderful.
most of that. But the other high schools in our area do not have that.
Hmm.
A
So
lot of
I've
them
tried
don't.
different ways, and English teachers and history teachers, poli-sci, that kind of thing.
Yeah, when I was in high school, it was the drama teacher that ran both the speech and the drama programs. Because like I said, they kind of go hand in hand, and the same students were involved in both.
You know, I guess I
giving
was
use.
lucky. I was lucky when I was in high school. There was separate. There was a drama department and there was the speech class.
we're lucky.
Yeah. But oh, by the way, I want to underscore, Harvey Lee, your idea about co-marketing. Right on. I think that's wonderful.
Mhm.
Lana is working on that. Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
And just to let you add a PS, a postscript to that, I used to be a headhunter, and I used to place technical candidates, and I would have employers come to me say, you know, the candidates are great, but we can't promote them. Why not? Well, you know, they just don't communicate very well. And I heard that 30 years ago. I hear it today. It hasn't really changed
Yeah.
that much. So it is imperative that we help inspire this ability to communicate. And the younger we can do it, the better.
Mhm.
And by providing examples like Marlene just gave to teachers and to people that we're talking with. And I mean, even if everybody thinks of public speaking as you're going to go on the speaking circuit, right, and give speeches. But there's so many, looking back on my career, there are so many times that I have been spontaneously put in front of people I didn't know and had to say something. And so those skills are just so critical for career advancement in every field, every single field. So I think we're all in agreement on that, though. I'm just preaching to the choir here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we are, Sharon, one more thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to support what Havili said as far as the career centers and the counseling. We always have a contact on campus. Generally, it's through them. Now, this year we have 9 at the high school. There are 9 high schools in the district, and all the ones I have are through the career center. And they seem to, because they're doing stuff like that, and they can. We also give out flyers to the career centers. They give it out to the students. We have a poster, and then we also give a workshop.
Oh, wonderful.
They provide. So we contact them early. So we already have them set up, all the workshops, because they choose the date, the person that our contact is, and then they will help us, get out the information. And so we use the student toolkit plus lots of other stuff that we've added into it to help them with doing their speech. And that has worked very well for us.
That's wonderful.
Great.
And I know
love those
Marlene
best
has
practices.
done some presentations at some various organizations too, to kind of sing our praises. So if you contact somebody, an organization or a teacher, and they're unsure of what you're talking about, turn them on to us. And Marlene and I are more than happy to contact them and either set up a webinar or set up a little blurb at one of their meetings or anything to get the word out. Harvey, did you have another question?
Sherry, can I have you go into a little more detail on what this workshop is? Is it to kind of sell the speech track to the kids, to the teachers?
Or isn't it for kids that have already signed up though?
That they've already signed up, or sometimes it's and that's what's good with either the counselor or the career center. They're very helpful in all the ones that we've had so far, that they keep track of the kids, and sometimes they go after them and say, don't forget to come, and all that kind of stuff. But basically it's like a 13-page thing that we have, and a lot of the stuff is what we get from state, but then we give other stuff like to help them with writing, And then we have due dates at the very last page, when they have to have their first draft, when they have to turn in their registry or, application and all of that. And so we just, over the years, like we've had different people coming in and they say, we need this. Oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So, I mean, and we've developed it so that, you can use the same stuff every year, you just change. And we give them like places to go, resources, but that's all in this like 13-page booklet that we give each
I would
student
love
that
to
comes.
love to see that and see if there's anything
Okay,
we
yeah,
could
sure,
copy
yeah.
into the student toolkit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more than willing to.
Wonderful.
And then we also put it on the AAUW website under Speech Track.
Oh, wonderful.
And so it's available for the students also. And
Okay.
but it's basically the same one that we give out. So if the students, want to look at it online, they can. Or if they come, and then we usually leave extras, with the counselor or the career center, and then they can give them out. And some of them are a little bit more, like this year I had to get 2 new, because there's just a rotation of, people.
Yeah.
So I had to get 2 more, but this year was pretty easy getting them. Sometimes it's hard, but at least in the 4 schools that I have, I've had more success in the career center than with a teacher, because being a teacher myself, you are overloaded, but some of them really go out of their way. It just depends on, who you happen to team up with, and some of them are very good. But if you want, Lana, I can send you the.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. And I won't use anything without your permission, but I would love to see it.
Yeah. Okay, sure. No problem.
Yeah, I just had a quick question for you, Sherry. You mentioned that, I mean, everything sounds wonderful. You mentioned that they have a deadline to turn in a first draft of their speech.
Well, the first thing is,
who do they turn it into?
They have to, me, or, the person who is myself or Anne, who is at the other schools.
And the purpose
of
that,
they have to, is that they're serious about doing this.
Okay.
If you don't have a draft, I think this year, because we moved up it's to February 10th. We usually had it the 3rd Saturday, but now we're going to do the 2nd Saturday. So I think their application has to be like a week before, and then I think it's February 1st that they have to have a first draft. But when I do mine, I say, if you're going to do this, give me your registration or give it to the person, in the career center tomorrow. Go home, talk to your parents or whoever.
Kind of evidence, like you said, of their commitment.
Just, I understand.
And bring it back.
That sounds great. I just want to make sure that no judges see any of that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's all it's all at the school.
Okay.
This is all at the school. There's
Gotcha.
no judges
Just
ever
making
see
sure.
it. No.
Okay.
No.
We are coming up on our hour that we allotted for this time. I'm happy to hang on and talk more if we want. It's Susan, I'll get you just a second. I just want to ask if I would like to put out a survey. I know I hate surveys too, but I would like to send a survey, a questionnaire to all of you, and just to get some input, so that on our subsequent meetings, which is the next one is October 18th, we can actually focus in on maybe a 1 or 2 topics and really dive in and get some really useful information. So I will send out a survey, probably SurveyMonkey or Google Doc or something like that, just asking for your input and for some suggestions on topics that would be helpful for you, for us to discuss. And that way I can come in to the meeting with some preparation if there's any information, like I can, ping Marlene and have her give me historical information and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, Susan. You're on mute.
Sorry. I just want to say thank you to Sherry again for suggesting the due dates. And that gets at another question that I had, because as a former teacher, I use Turnitin to make sure that students weren't copying from their older sister or something like, or getting it from the internet. And now we have ChatGPT. And
Yeah.
so if they have to do a first draft to you, it can be pretty obvious if it's dramatically different. So
Yeah. Yeah, we actually talked about ChatGPT at our last committee meeting, like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do about this?
I bet
So-
some people are gonna do, I don't know. But-
Well, and that's something we can certainly discuss too. This has to be an original, substantially,
Right.
I'll say, substantially
Yeah.
original speech. And we can certainly define that more if we need to.
okay,
Yeah.
and Turnitin does have an updated version to try to get around ChatGPT. So
Yikes,
You
I'm
can look
feeling
into
very
that.
out of it. I don't know what those are.
What's
Oh.
the Turnitin? I've never heard of that.
So that's a program that's used widely to, and what happens is students send their essays through technology
Oh.
to it, and it scans all sorts of libraries from around the world. And I literally did have students who used their sister's papers, and it showed up. Oh my goodness, your sister
Wow,
wrote
yeah.
this. You and your sister is 3 years older, and you thought that I would forget, but you know, it's no way. And I would have forgotten.
Wow. Yeah,
Wow,
you
so
never-
that
It does
can really
happen.
identify plagiarism. That's great.
Yeah, and I've literally had like A students who plagiarized from various places, and then when Turnitin will show you where it came from and all the places on the internet where the phrases were copied.
Oh, I see.
And so I've had angry parents come in to yell at me and say, "How dare you say this?" And all I did was show them the
Website.
results. Now, given that English is a very concise language and there are several words or phrases that are common, those things are going to show up. But what Turnitin does is it shows when entire phrases are copied, and maybe a student has exchanged one word here and there.
Okay, so it's not like they're
Mm.
quoting and they give credit to it. It's
Right. And
they're presenting it
quotes are-
as their own words.
Yeah,
own
and quotes
words.
are not included. If it's in a quote in your essay, then
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
considered it. And
Yeah,
it's all
right,
a
that makes sense.
gradation, and sometimes it comes down to a subjective decision, but you can get a printout and it'll have like red, green, blue, like a rainbow of colors to show how a student might have copied something.
You know, the funny thing
Wow.
is, in my job right now, in my career, I plagiarize everything. I write SOPs and procedures for clients. I'm a consultant, and I take other people's SOPs. I plagiarize on a daily basis.
Well, that's a little different.
I know, but
Yeah.
it's pretty funny.
Well,
Yeah, a
you
friend of
know,
mine said that. Yeah.
yeah, well, thank you so much for bringing that up. You know,
Yeah.
Judy, do you have a question, Judy?
I do. Our judges were upset with our format for the judges because the writing was so small. And
Oh,
so I rewrote and I hope that's all right. So each student had their own paper. Each judge had like 5 papers. So each student
Right, yeah,
had a
we-
paper.
Mm.
And I hope that's okay too. If that's not.
Yeah, you're right. It is kind of tiny.
Yeah,
They're
and
very
all those little numbers, all in that little row, it didn't work for my judges.
were you able to make it bigger?
I did. I rewrote it too. I mean, I did the same words, but I just made it in a little different format so that it was written larger,
Mhm.
and each student had his or her own paper.
Right.
Would you
yeah.
be willing to share that
That's
with
okay.
us?
I
Maybe
did
we could
already. I did send it in, but
Oh.
I'll send it in again. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be great.
Because it is
Anybody that
small.
comes up with a tool that's helpful, please
Yes.
feel free to
Okay,
share.
I will.
All right, well, we're past our deadline, and again, I can't say how much I really appreciate you guys jumping on this call. This is going to be, I think this is going to be really helpful for us. And the next one we have scheduled is October 18th. I'm committed to doing these once a month on the third Wednesday of the month until probably February would be the last one, because by then you guys are all, you know, into your contest and you don't really need to talk with us anymore unless you want to. We're happy to keep continuing and learning on. And like I said, if any of you, or if you know of anybody that would love to help us plan out the future of this program, we're more than happy to have you join the team. So please forward the name to me and I'll get out that questionnaire, survey, whatever you want to call it, in the next couple of days.
I see Claire has a question.
Yeah, just one last thing I didn't get answered was how much does your
Oh,
branch
right.
budget typically?
Oh, budgets, yeah. So that depends on in-person or online. So yeah.
Well, no. But Claire, you're asking me how much would you budget? $25.
Oh, for the branch.
Yeah, $25.
So
yeah.
you don't give prizes to the winners?
You
or-
can, yes, it's up to the branch. If yours just starting out and your budget is small, maybe you can print a first, you know, a certificate, and you know, that kind of thing. If you can't give it a cash award, you don't have to give a cash award.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, or you can give a small, or you can give a gift card or a Starbucks card, or you have the autonomy to do what you want, but the fee, the entry fee is $25.
$5, yeah.
Okay.
For the
All right.
state, for the state
For the state.
competition.
And
Yeah.
you do need a videographer or someone who's good with video, so that because the first place winner is uploaded their video is uploaded for semifinals judging.
Right.
So
Okay.
you would want to either hire someone or someone who's good, because that is very important to have. It's important they be seen well and heard well.
Great. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Does anybody have any last comments?
Well, thank you, ladies, one and all.
All right. Well, I
Yeah,
look
thank
forward
you.
to speaking with you again next month. If you have any questions between now and then, feel free to drop me an email, or if you want to set up a call with me, I'm happy to do that too.
And my
you.
last comment is with apologies to Albert Einstein. I'm just going to say that it's the supreme honor of Speech Trek to awaken joy in creative expression. That's what we want to do. Thank you, ladies.
Love that.
That's right.
Love
All right.
that.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
All right.
Night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Have a good
Thank you,
one.
Lana.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Can't find the leave button on here now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There it is.
Now where to go?
I'll end it for you.